Right, 19 March 2025, and today I've got one of the most important broadcasts, and I want to take this in a very systematic way so that we don't get confused, because the current situation has reached another level. So I know that most of you have been following it since a long time ago, and you understand everything that I've been saying here. And I'm happy to say that everything we've been saying is now happening. But I've got more that I'm going to give you now, which will clarify what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. So the advantage that I have is that I know most of the players. I talk to them on a day-to-day basis. And some of the information that I have is directly from the people involved. So the question is, where are we now? And what is going to happen next in Zimbabwe? So we are going to go through one of the most difficult periods starting this week. So starting this week, I've said to you in the past that Chiwenga is now the man of the moment. Chiwenga is now in a position where, if he's not careful, he's going to be taken out. And this is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. So the next 2 weeks are the most important for Chiwenga. Chiwenga can either become the president of Zimbabwe, or he will be taken out completely, not just from ZANU-PF, but from Earth. So if Chiwenga is not careful, he is going to be taken out from Earth because of the type of people that he's dealing with. You cannot underestimate Mnangagwa at all. So I want people to understand that you cannot underestimate Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is a very dangerous person. And if you do not deal with Mnangagwa carefully, you would think that you are winning and find out that you are losing, because Mnangagwa has put in place a structure which includes people that you don't expect to be in that structure. And Mnangagwa is very decisive. When he does something, he will do it, and he starts planning for you way before you start planning what you're planning. So this is the moment when some people are going to be betrayed and some people are going to come out on top. However, according to what I've seen right now, Mnangagwa has lost control of the security structures in government, in the police, in the military, in intelligence, and most people around Mnangagwa no longer want him to be the president of Zimbabwe. So yesterday's press conference or State of the Nation address by War Veteran, Blessed Geza, has revealed a number of things. The first is that Mnangagwa is going to be removed from office on the 31st of March. I've got no doubt that Mnangagwa will be removed from office on that day. If Mnangagwa is not removed from that position on that day, then all the other people that are against him are going to be removed. So starting with Chiwenga, there is no way that Chiwenga and Mnangagwa can now be in the same government. So it's no longer possible. Starting today and going on to the end of March, you're going to see a massive change. Especially Mnangagwa still has power as the president of the country. You are going to see him making a move if he has already not made that move overnight. So normally I expect Mnangagwa to move very fast. And I expect that a move has already been made. As soon as Geza finished his statement, I expect that a move has been made. Remember, that statement was pre-recorded. So Geza recorded that statement a day before. And I advised you that that had happened. So I expect that a move has been made by Mnangagwa. And the move is to try to eliminate the threat. And currently the threat, as mentioned, is Chiwenga, Geza, and the war veterans, Chamisa, BT, Chibaya. All those people that were mentioned in that video are considered the enemy. So you're going to see a move being made against these people. And for the first time, you are going to see a move against Chamisa. So you are going to see a move against Chamisa sometime this week. For the first time, Mnangagwa is going to make a move against Chamisa. So now let me take you through what is happening. So let's start with the bigger picture. I said this is very complicated. Let's start with the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture in Zimbabwe? The bigger picture is that between now, 2025 and 2035, the military will be in control. So I've said this in the past. And then between 2035 and 2040, you are going to have your first election, a first free and fair election. The reason is that the military believes that the civilians have failed to run the country and there's too much corruption. So they want to put in place a new political order. And that political order will restore the country and remove corruption, personalization of government resources, and the abuse of the judiciary, abuse of power, and all the ills that you're seeing. So Geza properly described what is happening in the country and why there's a problem. So the military or the security structures or JOC, what is called JOC is the most powerful structure in the country. So JOC is made up of all the heads of government security structures. So that is the military. When I talk of the military, I'm talking about the reserve force, which is the war veterans, the military, the army, the air force, prison services, intelligence, all these people. And they have decided that what is happening in the country right now is a big problem, and they have put in place a structure, JOC, which is going to take charge. So between 2025 and 2035, JOC is going to be in charge of the country. When Mnangagwa got into office, he dismantled JOC. So he dismantled JOC, he removed their power, and he moved power to office of the president. So JOC is taking back the power. That is what you're seeing right now. And JOC includes the war veterans like Geza. So when you see Geza speaking, he's got the backing, the full backing of all the security structures. The only person right now who is not in support of what is happening is Mutamba. That is the new police chief who was appointed recently by Mnangagwa, and Mangwanya, most likely, who was appointed by Mnangagwa in December. So these two are the new appointments. So that is why you see that when Geza was speaking, he spoke directly to Mutamba. He accused Mutamba of trying to kill him by sending 4 units of homicide detectives who were armed with AK-47s. So at the moment, JOC is going to reconstitute, and your new leaders are going to be JOC. But above JOC, there's going to be Chiwenga. Chiwenga is going to be the new president of Zimbabwe by the 1st of March. So by the 1st of April, sorry, by the 1st of April, Chiwenga is going to be the new president of Zimbabwe. And that is because that is the decision that has been made. And Geza said it multiple times. If you watch the video that was made by Geza, between 15 minutes and 22 minutes of that video, which is about 7 minutes, he's talking about Chiwenga. So Chiwenga is going to be the president. And now the question is, how is he going to do it? How is Chiwenga going to be the president? And I've already explained yesterday that Chiwenga is next in line. So the protest that is going to happen on the 31st is not a protest. And Geza said it himself. So let me show you what Geza has said so that we talk from the words of Geza. So I'm going to take you through this short clip here.
31 March. Tikukubirisai kuti munhu wose kubva kuplum tree. In fact, haizi demonstration, tinoitizvo uprising. Munhu wese ngaapinde mustreet. Munhu wese ngaapinde mustreet. Right? Tirikuda kuti Mnangagwa, Emmerson Mnangagwa, spy Mnangagwa, ainde nezvigaranda zvake.
Okay, did you hear that? This is not a protest. This is an uprising. Tinoda kuti Mnangagwa ainde nezvigananda zvake. So Mnangagwa must leave with his kapa. So that is what the purpose of the uprising is. But if you are in Bulawayo and go on the street, if you are in Harare and go on the street, and if you're in Bedbridge and go on the street, you are putting pressure. That won't make Mnangagwa leave office. That won't make him flee. What will make Mnangagwa flee is if someone enter his house. If Mnangagwa's house is entered, and that is what is going to happen on the 31st of March. There is going to be an entry into Mnangagwa's house. And I'm telling you this thing, I'm not Geza. Geza said that is going to be diplomatic and is not going to give the details. So I'm going to give you a bit more detail. The protest is going to be happening across the country, but eventually people are going to enter Mnangagwa's house. Mnangagwa is going to be made to flee. So the purpose of 31 March is to make Mnangagwa flee and leave the country. And that vacuum is going to be filled by Chiwenga. Chiwenga is next in line to become the president of Zimbabwe. So this is what is going to happen. And the question now is that legal? Yes, perfectly legal, but not necessarily acceptable. So how they are going to make it acceptable? How are they going to make South Africa accept it, Botswana accept it, Mozambique, Tanzania, Zambia, Malawi? How are they going to make these countries accept it? They are going to accept it to make it acceptable because the actual process is going to be inclusive. So let's look at the process that has been described by Geza.
South Africa ma issues emu Zimbabwe tinodhila nawo isu semazimbabweans. Isu semazimbabweans tichadhila ma issues edu, right? And takabatana sekupromisana kwatakaita, right? Tataura neose ma-political players, vanachamisa, vanachibaya, vanasikana, vanabiti.
Okay. Tataura nawo ma-players ese, vanachamisa, vanachibaya, vanabiti. Who are these people? Who is Biti? Who is Chamisa? Who is Chibaya? So let's unpack it. So Biti is the lawyers, right? He's very respected in terms of the law. Biti has been working on what is called the National Transitional Authority for a very, very long time. We've got Chibaya. Who is Chibaya? Chibaya is the organizer. Chibaya has been going around the country for the whole of 2024 with the Blue Movement. Remember when we say the Blue Movement is going around the whole country mobilizing the structures, which means at any moment, Chibaya can press a button and all the opposition supporters will support what is happening now. Who is the other guys mentioned? There are organizations of the opposition that don't necessarily belong to Chamisa. They also are able to come together and mobilize. So if you look at Chamisa, Chamisa is the most popular person in Zimbabwe right now. He is the most popular opposition figure. But I've explained to you that there is no path for Chamisa to become president. So at the moment, from this exercise that is taking place, Chamisa is not next in line. However, Chamisa can give his support. And I've shown you here last month that Chamisa has held secret meetings with the army. And this has been confirmed to me. This morning, I've talked to multiple people trying to check what has happened. Where is Chamisa positioned in terms of what is happening? So if Chamisa supports it, if the lawyers support it, if the grassroots support it, and the army support it, JOC support it, Mnangagwa leaves, then Chiwenga will go into office. When Chiwenga goes into office, we have a continuation of government, but without the issues. So you're not going to see a change of a government. What you're most likely to see is a government of national unity. So we're heading into a government of national unity, not a national transitional authority. So that is a continuation of the current government under a new leader, under the leadership of Chiwenga. So Chiwenga is going to be the next president within the same existing framework, within the same existing laws, because there is no law currently, a national transitional authority. That law does not exist to say, let's create a national transitional authority. Right now, that doesn't exist. So Chiwenga, as person who's next in line, is going to step in and become the president. So is that acceptable to Mnangagwa? Mnangagwa has no choice. Yesterday, according to the military blogger, Majaros, so I want to show you what has happened with Chiwenga. So that is the tweet there. Chiwenga and Mnangagwa had a meeting yesterday. And during this meeting, there was a discussion on what is currently happening. I don't think he knows exactly what they discussed, but I understand that right now Chiwenga has got the upper hand. Chiwenga is protecting Geza with the army, with Jok. So Jok are currently protecting Geza. Mnangagwa is aware, but is not able to do anything about it. So inside the barracks, Mnangagwa is not able to penetrate. He has lost control of the military. He's lost control of people that control the soldiers. So Mnangagwa has lost control on that side. And this is significant. This is not a small thing. It's a very big thing. If as a president, you lose control of the army operationally, you have a very serious problem. And so that is where we are. Today, Chiwenga and Mnangagwa are going to be presiding over one event. So let's see what happens during that event, which is going to be the National Youth Fund. So there's going to be a National Youth Fund launched today, where I expect Mnangagwa to be either president or not. And that is going to be significant. We're going to see what is going to happen over there. Remember Rera, who is based in the UAE, or who has business in the UAE, is the one who is driving this process. So let's see if Mnangagwa is going to appear. So I can see here that this is going to be at the Harare International Conference Center. So let's see if that is going to take place today or tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's today. I thought this was today. So I'm seeing here. Right, I'm sorry, guys. I think we seem to have lost my connection somewhere there. Let's wait for my connection to come back. Let's wait for my connection to come back. Let's wait for my connection to come back. I've lost my connection a little bit over here. And let's see if I can retry.
Moyo, uko, kuno, abo, ano. Ay, 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 ay.
Right, and I apologize, guys, for this loss of connection. I don't know what's happening over here. Sorry, apologies for that, for the loss of connection. I hope that I'll be able to finish this session. I think something to do with the power cuts in the area where I am. So, as you know, I have been on the road for the whole month, and this is quite tricky. So I'll try to make sure that I finish this as soon as possible and with as much clarity as possible. So let me take you through the last bits. So we have said that currently Mnangagwa has lost control of all the structures. Chiwenga is going to be the next president of Zimbabwe under the existing structure. There's no new structure that is going to be formed, except perhaps a GNU of some sort with Nelson Chamisa being involved and being included A lot of opposition figures are going to be put in place. The new government is going to be reconstituted, but the power behind the government is going to be Jock. Jock is going to take back its place because Mnangagwa had removed or taken over the power of Jock, and security has now been moved into the office of Mnangagwa. So Mnangagwa had sidelined Jock, and now Jock is taking back the power with the army, intelligence, police, prison services, and with the reserve force being very, very important. Reserve force being obviously the war veterans, very, very important. And new players, there are going to be new players within the new government. And the expectation is that we're going to have an orderly government. We're going to have a change of economic fortunes and sections of the economy, like key sectors of the economy and structures of the economy. For example, Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe are going to be run professionally, and we're going to stop the decay that is currently taking place. It's very, very important to understand the objective of what's happening right now. It is a repair of the system. The system is broken, and the military and all the other structures of government have decided that Mnangagwa and the way he's running the government is not the correct way. And therefore, when you see that protest taking place on the 31st, it's going to be successful because it's a military operation. It's not a protest. That's why I'm always telling you guys that it's not a protest. What is going to happen that day is not you. You're not the one who is in charge. You are part of what is happening, but you're not the one who is running that program that is going to happen on the 31st of March. So a new government is coming, and the president is going to be Chiwenga, but the power behind everything is going to be Jock. We're going to have a proper structure in the country. The security is going to be restored, and a lot is going to happen to people around Mnangagwa. So there are people who have been mentioned here. A lot of them have been mentioned, and these people are named. I've already shown you the dossier that was issued a few months back. So that is Mnangagwa, his family, and people around Mnangagwa: Scott Sapkwanya, Kudata Gurei, Wikno Chivayo, Mabo Chinomona, Garwe. Those people that I was talking about, they are in the dossier. These people are going to be in a lot of trouble, and some of them are going to be arrested. So it's already been said that some of these people are going to be arrested, or they're going to be taken out of the system if they resist. At the moment, Mnangagwa is no longer in charge. As we speak right now, Mnangagwa is no longer in charge. You will see that there was silence on certain people. So Opam Chinguri, nothing was said about her. Vice President Kembo Mohadi, nothing was said about him. So there are people who are in the current government right now who we are going to see in the next government. So take, for example, if you have Chiwenga as the president, and possibly you are going to have a new setup at the top with a number of presidents or vice presidents, or Chamisa replacing one of the vice presidents, and possibly someone like Mohadi being replaced by someone from the military. So you probably have Chamisa there, and you have one of the military people under Chiwenga. So the military is going to be very strong. Going into April, you're going to see a very, very strong military presence in the government. Now, let's look at some of the key information from here. Poisoning of Chiwenga is a crime. So how is the government of Chiwenga going to deal with it? There's been a direct accusation that Mnangagwa poisoned Chiwenga. Mnangagwa has killed the generals. So all the generals who died recently, that is 46 generals. As I said, those who killed by Mnangagwa, it is a direct accusation that has been made. What is going to happen to Mnangagwa? Is he going to be able to get out of the country after poisoning these generals? Is it possible? I don't think it's possible. I think that we're going to see possibly the arrest of Mnangagwa at some point, maybe not on the day, but there'll obviously be something that comes out of this. Then you're looking at Mnangagwa's children. They are going to have massive losses. These guys are into mining. They've been grabbing mines across the whole country. What is going to happen to the children of Mnangagwa? Yeah, you people here that have been mentioned Matuke, you've got Garwe, you've got Mebo Chinomona, you've got Auxillia. Auxillia Mnangagwa is being accused of directly communicating with Marry Chiwenga. Pokello, July Moyo, Emmerson Mnangagwa Jnr. They're being accused of directly talking to Marry Mbaiwa and making sure that she smears the name of Mnangagwa. You've got Chris Mutsvangwa, is mentioned here as one of the people that have been talking very bad about Chiwenga, what is going to happen to him. So it's very, very important to understand that we don't want to go back to the G40 scenario where everyone who was opposed to Mnangagwa had to run out of the country. What is going to happen to the G40 people? For example, people who have left, Jonathan Moyo, Kasukuwere, Muzembe, these are the prominent people. What is going to happen? What is the part they're going to play? Who is going to be removed and who's going to come back into ZANU-PF? Very, very important, because the reorganization of the government automatically means the reorganization of ZANU-PF. There'll be a new order within ZANU-PF. The ZANU-PF Central Committee, the ZANU-PF Politburo is going to be changed, and you're going to have a new ZANU-PF that is friendly to social media. So the current government of Mnangagwa is not present. It's a government that is quite closed. But this new government that we have of Geza, the new structure that is going to come in with Geza inside of ZANU-PF, and people like Chiwenga, very friendly to social media, very open to ideas. So you're looking at a very different structure coming up in ZANU-PF within the next few weeks. And this is going to be very, very interesting. So changes in ZANU-PF, changes in the government, and inclusive. You're going to see some sort of GNU and a bit of action before. So before this whole thing happens, you're going to see some action. And I'm seeing a pushback starting today by Mnangagwa. There's going to be a pushback to try and stop what is happening. But he's lost control of the security structure. So you must understand that when you lose control of the security structure, you just become one man. So Mnangagwa is right now one man. He doesn't have control, and anything can happen at the moment. However, given the fact that there is a possibility that there are units of the army that are loyal to Mnangagwa, what can happen? Also, the issue of the mercenaries. What can the mercenaries do against the Zimbabwe National Army? Are they able to go up against the Zimbabwe National Army? My understanding is that the Zimbabwe National Army is awaiting the arrival of the mercenaries. So my sources tell me that the Zimbabwe National Army is well aware that they're mercenaries and they are waiting for them to arrive. And they will be meeting them with force if they do arrive. That is my understanding of this whole situation, that mercenaries in South Africa, in Mozambique, and likely in Tanzania. So that is my understanding from the sources that I've talked to within the past 3 weeks, that there is such a group of people that are waiting to go in and support Mnangagwa. And without the support of the people on the ground, Mnangagwa has got no leg to stand on. And this is the current situation. So the next 2 weeks, starting today, ending up to the 31st, there are a number of things that can happen. So Mnangagwa can leave by himself. That is possible. So within the next 2 weeks, Mnangagwa can leave by himself. Or possibly, he waited until the 31st, which would be a very bad mistake, because once you get to the 31st, what happens there is going to be impossible. So there's no way of controlling what happens on the 31st. So Mnangagwa in a very tricky situation right now, and we're going to see a decision and an action taking place very, very soon from Mnangagwa. And Mnangagwa is no longer in control, as I said. And people around Mnangagwa have already left. It's been over a month since they left. They've been moving their goods, their furniture, selling the houses. That's what they've been doing over the past month. And most of these people are aware that Mnangagwa is no longer in charge of the army, of the police, of intelligence, of many, many sections. If you deal with intelligence, guys, you know what I'm talking about. There is no one left right now who supports Mnangagwa. Most of the guys are just waiting for Chiwenga to declare, and then they'll go on the side of Chiwenga. And then it will be up to Chiwenga to create a government that will be successful and that will be able to run the country. However, don't expect a new government or a new structure. That is going to be a ZANU-PF government which includes other people, because Chiwenga is next in line. He is next to become the president. So the only thing left is for Mnangagwa to leave, and then you're going to see Chiwenga. So that is stepping down peacefully or fleeing on the 31st of March. Those are the options that are available to Mnangagwa. Right, I want to now go into, Mike Molevi says 1 March next year, 1 April, Nkoma Mike, 1 April. I could have said something there, like 1 March. 31st of March is the protest. 1 April, you're going to have Chiwenga as the president. So let's fix that. I think you've picked up something here about the dates. Let's see if we can fix the dates. So 1 April is the date when Chiwenga is going to be the president of Zimbabwe. And this is a longer term strategy. So we have a longer term strategy for what I call the bigger picture. Remember what I say, the bigger picture is what happens between now and 2035. This has been in the works for a very long time. And Chiwenga has a big decision to make. The man that we're all watching right now is Chiwenga, a former military general and a very powerful figure in the government of Zimbabwe and also in the region. Chiwenga is very respected. He's got multiple connections within the regions with all the militaries, and he's the natural person to take over from Mnangagwa because he's next in line within ZANU-PF. That is what is going to happen. You must also understand something. Geza, Comrade Nyoka Mapunu, those guys are speaking for the military because the military has been, they've removed the ways of communicating. So the military website, Twitter, all these channels at the military here were brought down. After the incident where Mnangagwa was flying to Victoria Falls and is jetted to turn back, one of the first things that they did was to remove or to deplatform the army. So the army was deplatformed. The army of Zimbabwe was deplatformed. And this happened immediately. And I showed you when it happened. We've got a very important number of events taking place right now. And we need to count people in the government. We don't need this government that we had of Mnangagwa. And I think a majority of Zimbabweans agree that under Mnangagwa, the focus was on stealing government money and putting it into his pocket. So Mnangagwa became a person whose only job in government was to steal money and put it in his pocket, resulting in the situation that we have in Zimbabwe now, where everything has collapsed, economy has collapsed, education has collapsed, infrastructure has collapsed. We've got multiple incomplete projects. Almost every project that Mnangagwa started is not complete, including the Sadak villas. Can you believe that those Sadak villas are not complete as yet? This is crazy and unbelievable. And Mnangagwa also used force, he used poison, according to what was said here by Geza. He would poison multiple people and they would all die, like the 46 generals who died since 2017. So the generals will not allow themselves to be killed. You won't see a reversal of this process. This process is not reversible. We are in a very, very critical period in Zimbabwe, and it's going to happen right in front of your eyes. It's no longer Gambako telling you, and you're going to start seeing this thing on ZBC. You're going to see it on State Press. You're going to see all these things, as I said, no longer a secret or a theory, but a reality of how Zimbabwe is going to move forward, and probably a fresh start for the country if Chiwenga gets the correct advice. So if Chiwenga is listening and able to restructure the government, he's going to do very, very well to be one of the best governments that you have ever seen. So now let's go into the newspapers. I want to start looking at Herald Zimbabwe. Let's see if they publish. Yes, Herald Zimbabwe is published. Let's see what Herald Zimbabwe is saying about the meeting. Remember, I said that there is a launch which is going to be attended by Mnangagwa, and I expect Chiwenga to be there. So let's see what date this is, because the other paper said tomorrow. So I do not know why they're saying tomorrow, because I thought it was today. So it's crazy. this is going to happen tomorrow now. It has changed. Because I understand that it was today. So I don't know whether it's connected to what I'm talking about here, but the National Youth Empowerment Fund will be launched tomorrow. So that is no longer today, it's tomorrow. 5,000 youth from across Zimbabwe are expected to attend the event. And the president has also introduced the Presidential War Veterans Fund. I've shown you this during the week. And so let's see what happens here. Very, very important what happens here. And then let's look at the election notice here. It is hereby notified that they shall sit on the 12th of March. There is Rushinga RDC election here. Nothing else of importance or relevance right now in terms of what we're discussing. But tomorrow's meeting, very important. Let's see what happens tomorrow when Mnangagwa comes out, and if Chiwenga is going to come out, or if Mnangagwa is going to use that event to say something of significance. But very, very important. You must understand where we are. We are at the end of something that has been happening since 2019. That is when this started. And I've been on top of this situation since then. Amazing that we've been covering this story. And now we're at the end. This is what we call the moment of truth. And in such moments, you see who is who. Some people are going to follow the wayside. Some people are going to get tired and quit. And only those who know what they're doing are going to be left standing. The 1% of the people that are successful on earth, they keep going when other people have stopped. So amazing, amazing stuff, amazing times that we're going through. And we're going to see a change in our country, which has never been seen before. Amazing. Now, let's go to another newspaper. I want to go to H Metro. I want to see what they're saying about the robbery at Wignoshwa's home. Father-in-law was robbed by 20 men. So let's see who did it. They have pictures of the people that robbed. So let's see who did the robbing. Let's see who did it. Right. Security experts say 100,000 carrot can create a 20-member Alpha Omega Farm gang armed robbers. Right, so these are not the actual robbers. Can witness 100,000 cash reward create a cartel of criminals. So, guys, this is the H Metro newspaper. And I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't displaying those pictures in the beginning. So there's actually no robbers. They don't have the pictures. They just showed some pictures from the past here. So this is not the actual pictures of the robbers. And this is just some guys from the past who were robbing. So 100,000 is the price that Wukino has put out and said anyone who identifies the people that robbed his father-in-law can get that $100,000. No questions asked. I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be, this is the military operation. If he's smart, and I've said this in the past, stay out of Zimbabwe, sell your jet, take your little money that you have and go and find a nice country to stay in. Wukino cannot live in Zimbabwe with his wife and family. These guys are in trouble. And then you see 6 robbers have been shot dead in Bulawayo at Tollgate. I'll give you further that story. You can also go and look at Gambakwe to see more what's happening with these armed robbers. So I'm not going to show you the whole newspaper, obviously, but this is a very important newspaper. H Metro, always on top of the situation. I like this newspaper. I read it on a daily basis. And then let's see what's in the Chronicle newspaper. Chronicle Zimbabwe. So Chronicle Zimbabwe is the newspaper of the southern region. That is Matabeleland, north-south, Bulawayo. And for some reason, the network is very slow today. I think something's happening that is slowing down everything. Maybe I need to buy a new network because I cannot see my press as I normally do. So let's try again. Chronicle Zimbabwe. So guys, thank you very much for being patient with me here while I try to make my technology work All right, so we can't get the Chronicles of Zimbabwe. Something is gone wrong with my whole system here. But I think I've covered everything. At an individual level, the guys in government, the guys around Mnangagwa are in trouble. So people like Whitnell, Tagwire, Scott Sapanya, the children of Mnangagwa, these people are in a lot of trouble. And anything can happen at this particular moment. So it's very important for them to understand where the situation is. It's no longer business as usual in Zimbabwe. We're at a critical moment. The moment when Mnangagwa is going to leave and Chiwenga is going to take over, the joke is going to become very important and very strong. And we're probably going to see a government of national unity with Chiwenga and Chamisa at the center of that government. But behind the scenes, we're going to have a very strong joke that is going to take over. That is going to be very strong going forward. So Chiwenga, one of the most important people right now, look at what Chiwenga does going forward. It's going to be very, very important. And you're going to have a President Chiwenga within the next 3 weeks if he plays his cards right. If Chiwenga does not do the right thing, he's going to be dropped. Chiwenga cannot get out of this one because he's going to be accused of being behind the whole plot. And the end result is going to be very dangerous for Chiwenga. Right, I think I've covered everything. And given the fact that we've got all these network issues, I'm going to bring this to an end. And let's see if there's any new comments here. Would it be wrong if he rated this mess by waging war? Yes, you'll be wrong, because he's going to lose very badly. Mtuli Ngube should be jailed. I don't know. I think Mtuli Ngube is not in control. The Mnangagwa family has been appointed into the ministry. All that I know is that many people are going to run away. So within the next week or two, many of them are going to run away. Many of them have already gone. The crocodile can make a surprise attack. Chiwenga is careful. Yes, have you seen Chiwenga anytime this week? Let's see today what Chiwenga is going to do. Tomorrow, is he going to appear? Mkoma Peter Toshi, lines of short legs. Yes. Geza seems old and feeble. Yes, it's possible that is old and feeble. It is looking good. He knows all the moves of the opposition. Yes, but Mnangagwa is lost control of security structures. So when you lose the control of the security structures, you are gone as a president. This is where we are. Mnangagwa has lost control, and Chiwenga has been declared by the military structures as the incoming president. There is nothing that we can change about this. Chiwenga has been declared. So now the two cannot be in the same office. It's not possible. And we just pray that the new government that comes is friendly. It's got friendly policies and is friendly to the people. Right, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. Let's see if there's something in South Africa. I want to just cover a story or two from South Africa. So firstly, let's start in Bulawayo. So you know that there's a detective who passed away. She was shot dead in a shootout. So the person that shot her dead has confessed. And that is 30-year-old police officer, Nomo Mradzikwa, is now at the Bulawayo Magistrates Court, where he's being arraigned over the death of Detective Cassandra Hove in a shooting in Pumla, South Bulawayo on March 6. He allegedly confessed to firing the killer bullet. So I don't know whether this man did it maliciously or it was just a mistake, but this man has been arrested and is appeared in court for the shooting of female detective Cassandra Hove, who passed away in Pumula during a hunt for an armed robber. So you can go check this out in ZimLive. ZimLive is the Zimbabwe intelligence newspaper. So ZimLive, the Zimbabwe intelligence own that newspaper. So most of the time I'm going to see anything to do with the military and police in that newspaper. And you're also going to see pictures that you normally don't get from normal sources. And then in South Africa, one of the most well-known accountants, Yake Kwinana, has been arrested. She owns one of the big, or she used to own one of the big audit firms. I remember seeing her in one of the audit firms. And she also has been previously the SAA board chairperson. And she's been arrested after she demolished houses of people who invaded the land. About 100 people invaded the land in East London. And after they invaded the land, she then went to them and said they must pay rent on the land, which is about 2,200 a month. And this month, she has taken a bulldozer and bulldozed the houses of those who didn't pay. About a few, maybe 20 or 30 houses, I think, were involved. And she bulldozed those houses. And then she has been arrested by a national task force. And the national task force was involved in her being taken to Johannesburg, Randburg Magistrate Court, I think, where she appeared in court for destroying those houses. So I think we've covered everything. Apologies for my network issues. I'll get this sorted. And I know that this is very important. Let's see what happens in our country. We're at the moment of change, the moment that we've been talking about. What I can assure you guys is that you will never see me in government. Guys, you will never see me in government. I am going to be one of the people that are going to be in media. We're going to be running business in media. I've got no intention of doing anything in government. I will never approach or be approached to be in government. I've got no desire to be in government. I don't like working in government. I don't like being constrained in an office. I like to be working with the diaspora. So homecoming is going to be one of the biggest things that I work on. And I hope that Chiwenga will listen when we go to him. We'll talk to Chiwenga and check out Chiwenga. Pane zvakawanda zveku diaspora. If Chiwenga does what I think he should do, he's going to do very, very well. If Chiwenga listens to the people, he's going to do very, very well. Zimbabweans across the world are working in some of the most senior positions. Some of the biggest companies in the world are being led by Zimbabweans. And Chiwenga has got a wide pool of people to look at. The biggest problem that Mnangagwa did when he got into office was to think that his family is the center of Zimbabwe. Appointing his son as a deputy minister, appointing his wife as ambassador, using his corrupt cronies in everything, and continuing to do gold panning, robberies, minor things like that. If Chiwenga does what needs to be done, he's going to be so successful. He's going to be the most successful president ever, because Zimbabwe is ready to become a first world country. Just connect that country quick. Make people move very fast from one place to another. If you fix the rail system in Zimbabwe, so that someone can move from Harare to Bulawayo in 2 hours, Harare to Victoria Falls 3 hours, Harare to Gweru 1 hour, Harare to Mutare. If you do that and you make sure that there is a currency that works, remove all this corruption, build infrastructure, you will see that Zimbabwe will do so well. Open up the markets so that capital can flow into Zimbabwe, remove the constraints for capital, build a good relationship with the Americans. He's going to do very, very well. It's very simple. And change the perspective of Zimbabwe as a country where people live, but make it a country where people come in. You're going to see that Chiwenga is going to do so well. And Mnangagwa will be like a bad nightmare that we need to forget. Mnangagwa has done so badly. I have been saying it here on a daily basis. He has taken a beautiful country and turned it into one of the worst countries in the world. Because every cent that came into the government, Mnangagwa would take it and put it in his pocket. And that was very bad, terrible behavior by a president. So we've got a massive opportunity in Zimbabwe. So everyone on the 31st of March are encouraged to follow the instructions. Close your business. Don't send your kids to school. Don't go to the borders and assist the guys who are planning the protest. This needs to happen, but it needs to happen in a peaceful way. We don't want anyone to be killed, because that is what can happen here. We're at a critical moment in our history. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you again tonight. We're going to be giving you more updates, because this is very important. What is happening right now is one of the most important periods. So let's watch Chiwenga. The next move by Chiwenga is going to be very, very interesting. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and a good day.
uko kuno abo ano mamuona kere nai anovura meso anovura nzeve anokaya marigi kamakwe.com Bwangere.com usasaire kamakwe anokaya marigi